Planning a trip to Portugal? Whether you're exploring Lisbon, surfing in Ediceto, or road tripping through the Alentejo, staying connected is essential. I use Airalo every time I travel, even on some surfboat trips, adventures to the Maldives. So when we connected to collaborate, I was really genuinely happy. Airalo's eSIMs give you instant data the moment you land in a foreign country. No queues, no physical SIM cards, just seamless, reliable coverage. Travel smarter, stay connected, download Airalo before your next adventure. Follow this link in the show notes to get connected today. This is Justin West from Podcast Portugal. I'd like to take this moment to welcome Denis Lassance. He is the Managing Director Europe at PMI. PMI is the Project Management Institute. We explore in this podcast how emerging technologies and shifting workforce dynamics and, having a renewed focus on purpose and people and how it's sort of redefining project success in 2026 and beyond. Denis, sorry, I'm anglicizing your name already. Big apologies. For those who may not be familiar, what is PMI and what does the organization actually do on a global level?
Good. Well, thank you, Justin, for having me, and happy to be indeed joining the community here. So the PMI, so Project Management Institute, is basically the world's leading professional association for the project profession. So I guess in the large sense, so project manager, but also people working at program level, portfolio level, across any type of sector, industry, public institution. And basically, so we are a global not-for-profit organization with members and people who have also credentials holders in nearly every country in the world. So I think we are operating, if I'm correct, about like more than 250 countries, so globally. And basically, the PMI is setting a number of internationally recognized standards and good practices for how we manage projects across different sectors and different level of complexity, and also about how transformations are to be delivered as well. And as I say, so we are working with governments, with public administration, with companies, with universities, and it's all about strengthening the execution capability and the leadership skills, and really make sure that workforce, I would say, is ready across all these different sectors to really deliver value, to deliver outcomes, right? So that's really about, project how strategy becomes reality in general, right? So whether it's a digital transformation, infrastructure, sustainability, social impact, public policy, and so on and so forth. So those capabilities are essential for, turning investments into real economic and social impact. So that's our mission, right? So we are there, as we say, to maximize project success, to elevate our...
Bringing that closer to you a little bit, can you explain your role as Managing Director Europe and what your day-to-day focus looks like?
Sure. So, just a few words about me. So I've been a project professional myself for my entire career so far. So I'm a civil engineer. I've been working and delivering projects across many different industries. As a managing director at the PMI for Europe. So basically, my role is to support the community of project professionals across more than 40 countries, including Portugal. But we are really active in nearly every single country in the European continent. We are really there indeed to really help the workforce of project management to really remain up to date, right? To really make sure indeed that they keep, I would say, going with all the different changes that is happening in the profession. So we are there to really listen to the community, support them with training, with certification, also to really make sure indeed that they have the right credentials to show indeed to the world, to their companies, indeed their level of capability in driving project management. And we are also working directly. So my role is really about indeed making sure that the government, the private enterprise, the university, the academia as well, know basically need a panel of learning solution that we have to really propose to really upskill and reskill the project manager across the continent. We are also very actively working to really prepare the next generation, right? So I think what we know, if I just give a few numbers, Justin. So we estimate today that in Europe we have about 9 million of project professionals.
Wow.
And by 2035, we estimate that numbers, the needs to really increase to about 11.3, 11.5 millions. And so that means that if you even consider that by 2035, well, a large portion of the current professionals will have retired, we estimate that in the next, let's say, 7, 8 years, we need 3.5 additional project managers in Europe. So which means that it's clearly a role, really, to make sure indeed that we are preparing Europe to really prepare the next generations of project professionals to really help across all sectors to move the region forward, basically.
Interesting. And of course, there's the obvious question that's being asked all the time at the moment. There's a lot of noise around AI. And from your perspective, what actually is changing in product delivery today, and how, looking at those statistics and numbers that you were suggesting, what sort of impact is AI having on those numbers?
Yeah, this is the 1 million question, right? So that's so it's interesting because I'm in Lisbon right now, so we are having our global summit series conference in Lisbon, and that's the question that everyone has, right? So what do I need to know what I do I need to do, and so how is AI transforming the profession? So AI obviously is going to change project delivery. Not necessarily in the way that people fear, right? So AI won't replace good project professionals. What it will replace is repetitive work. So which means in the project professions like chasing updates, drafting status reports, organizing your notes, creating first versions of project plan like project schedules or scanning for risk, right? So um, but AI, well, AI becomes very powerful in a number of different areas. So it's helping project professionals to generate better insight for decision making, faster execution through automation, early detection of risk and issue, because it can analyze patterns and data way faster than we can do as human, right? So, and I think it's the key point here for the question. I think we don't believe AI will replace judgment, right? So it can't take responsibility. It can't build trust with stakeholders. It cannot decide what trade-off is acceptable when values conflict, like speed versus safety, or innovation versus compliance, or cost versus customer impact, right? So
Interesting.
and I think we really believe, and what we say is that the winning formula is going to be human-led AI. So AI will support the work, but people will remain accountable for decisions and outcomes. And that's exactly the thinking of the PMI, so the Project Management Institute, right now. And I guess we have started already a few years ago. So we are really delivering a lot of different solutions to really prepare and upskill the project professions to be indeed very well to master the use of AI, and also basically indeed to master the delivery of AI solution, which is in itself a different things, right? So we have also with AI is transforming a lot of the role, obviously, but AI is also coming with a lot of opportunities because behind all the digitalization, there are projects, right? So AI delivery, so all the AI agents that you can see coming from any kind of things, right? Any kind of roles, any kind of industry. These are projects. These are projects that are delivered by project professionals, and we are helping them as well, indeed, in mastering how we work and how we deliver AI solutions.
So you're talking about certification there. You're going to offer some educational programs to help project managers to sort of adapt to AI and how to implement it in their companies.
So correct. So I guess so there are a number of, I would say, way we are supporting the profession. So we have a lot of different learning solutions to really help project manager delivering any type of project to really be really strong in understanding and using AI. And indeed, so what we are also doing is that we have basically created training and certifications. We call CPMAI. So that's certified project professionals for AI solution. And it's clearly designed to help professionals to lead AI initiative from idea to the full deployment. So it's clearly covering the full life cycles of an AI project, including business alignment, data readiness, model development, testing, implementation, governance, and scaling. So it's a different role in a way, like managing, delivering an AI solution. it's a very particular in itself. It's really about managing a data product, and that's clearly where we have been investing these last years.
Is there an organization in Europe that's getting sort of AI right, and sort of is there examples of companies which are getting it? I'm not going to say wrong, but could are sort of experimenting but failing.
Well, I think that's and we are doing at the PMI a lot of research as well. I think it's clearly one of the value that the PMI is doing, that we are really analyzing the market and working a lot with different partners across industries, academia, etc., to really analyze in it what's happening. So I don't think that there are indeed yet uh, companies that are really yet completely differentiated from where they are from an AI solution. What we are still seeing right now is that the numbers of AI transformations or AI projects that fails, I would say, remain very high, too
Mm.
high. I would say clearly about 80-85% across, I would say, all the sector and all the industry. And that's really why we have been investing in that capability to really help all the different industries to really indeed upgrade, upskills, I would say, in how we really distinguish the management of software development versus AI solution developments to really help those companies. And yes, I guess we are now seeing indeed uh, some companies. Probably not gonna name, I would say, them necessarily, right? But so the world in Europe is really indeed taking access to our AI certification more and more. This is at the PMI the fastest growing certifications we have, right? So the demand to really be certified with CPMAI to really understand what is the AI solutions and how you deliver that and how it's different from managing a different type of project is the fastest growing certifications we have right now in Europe, across the world, to be honest.
Mm.
And it's really, yeah, I guess it's attracting all the different big players when it comes to digitalizations, all the big consulting companies as well that are very active in helping all the different sectors in their digital transformations are really coming to us to really be upskills with that certification.
I mean, I'm going to bring it a little bit local now. Sort of Portugal and Lisbon in particular is becoming sort of fairly well known, a hub for international business and talent. There's a lot of remote workers here. Sort of, how do you see Lisbon's role, really, or Portugal's role in the future of work? Do you think has the noise been resonating to you? I mean, has it? Is Lisbon or Portugal doing something that's a little bit different than any other European countries? Or how do you see Portugal's positioning on this?
Yeah, I think Portugal is clearly on the right path to really take a very important role in leading on a number of things. I think digital transformation is one theme. I think that when I work with partner in Portugal, we hear also a lot of good leaderships when it comes to sustainability as well, which is another interesting themes as well. We were very lucky, Justin, to have yesterday with us at the Global Summit here, the presence and the privilege indeed to have the Minister of the Presidency of Portugal, so Antonio Leitão Amaro, who
Ah,
came and
yes, yes.
basically
He's interested to do a podcast interview with me. So, but he's so busy. We're trying to get him in the schedule. But
that's
yeah, he's fantastic, right?
yeah, he's fantastic, and we were very lucky indeed to have him with us yesterday. So I had a good conversations with him yesterday morning, and basically indeed, so what was really resonating for us is clearly indeed the ambition of the country, and of course the ambition of the minister himself to really uh, well use Portugal clearly as a leading force in Europe to really show the way from digitalization. I think it's clearly a very strong transformation agenda for the country across different things. He's been clearly indeed showing yesterday to the full the full team there. We had here like more than 500 people in the room. He's been presenting the ambition of the government, um, and also sharing a number of examples. It's not just a vision, why they are clearly activating a number of things to simplify, to digitalize in the administration level, and showing clearly indeed the ambition of the country to really transform and create high impact, I would say, digitalizations pathway for the country. And we had a very interesting dialogue with him, and he was very clear indeed in basically indeed asking the room there, and we had, of course, a majority of people from the country, so of project professionals from the country. He has been clearly asking them indeed to really take a strong leadership positions in helping the country to really continue on this path and be an example for Europe, right? And the PMI was there and basically to really indeed partner with the government of Portugal, and we will keep doing that as well to really help upskilling all the professionals, not only in the government itself, but really at the country level across all sectors to really help Portugal remaining indeed the force they are for the moment in that sector.
It's interesting, actually. I had an interview last week with Tim Halderson, and he's sort of more from grassroots in Lisbon, and they're doing these really interesting. They call them Espresso AI afterworks. So they have like quite a big and Marcus de Bombal. They have quite a big space there, and they're inviting everybody in the AI space in Web3 project space and all this to come and brainstorm and sort of talk about, what AI can do for business and for marketing and for human interaction. So it's very, even from that sort of grassroots space, it's quite interesting to see the level of energy that Lisbon has and people are coming from all walks of life. They're coming from Google, they're coming from all sort of, big AI companies. And it's very energetic. It's very nice.
No, absolutely. We have been spending here the week. So I've been here in Lisbon since Saturday. So it has been already like 5 days. We've been discussing with a number of partners who are based here as well, like whether they are in consulting. We have been working and discussing a lot with Nokia as well. Nokia has a big presence here in the around Lisbon as well, and they are super active in helping a lot of organizations with digitalizations across different ways as well. So yes, a lot of activity. It was really great, a lot of energy, and I'm happy indeed to continue indeed going in that conference today to really discuss with all the professionals of the country and really build on that energy.
Okay. You've introduced something called M.O.R.E. So that's M.O.R.E, a framework. What does it mean and why is it relevant now?
Yeah, it's a very good question. It's very high on the agenda of the PMI. So one of the most, I would say, important shift that is happening right now is how we define project success, basically. So for decades, we have treated success like a bit what we say a triangle, like delivering on time, delivering on cost, and delivering the scope, basically, indeed. And so the role of the project manager for a decade has been to really deliver on plan, right? So that was really to protect the plan. We did during the last 12 months a number of research, and our research showed that it's clearly not enough anymore, right? A project is successful when it delivers value, actually, so that it's worth the effort and the expense, and also value that our stakeholders in the project and our customers actually recognize. And that's why we came with the framework M.O.R.E, which is it's not a methodology, it's a mindset and a set of behaviors, and it's a simple way to describe what high impact project leadership look like. And M.O.R.E is an acronym, obviously. So M stands for manage perception, because if stakeholders don't see the value of what we are delivering, basically the value doesn't land. O is about own success. So that's really about asking the project professionals to really own the outcomes and not just the deliverable of the project. R stands for relentlessly reassess, because the reality changes, right? In that fast moving world as well, change is the reality, right? And plans must adapt, I would say, to all the different parameters that are changing when you are delivering a project. And the E, which is also very interesting, it's about expand perspective. Because projects are not working in isolation, right? They are part of a bigger ecosystem in a company, but also, let's say, in a sector. And they affect the people, the organizations, and the society in general as well. So it's clearly about assessing how a project in itself can generate more value by expanding the perspective of what it has to deliver to the society in general.
Okay,
So
the human impact.
yeah, exactly. And so, and it's very interesting because for us, this M.O.R.E research and M.O.R.E mindset is clearly not driving where we are taking clearly our trainings and where we are really helping the professions to upskill because we have been, and it comes also with the AI transformation, right? So we have been, the profession has been very much on the technical skills, I would say, for the last decade. So we have been very much helping project manager with methodologies, with process, and a lot of that is being now indeed automated and maximized, optimized by AI. And clearly now where the profession is going is to take really the leadership role and really managing indeed that notions of value from a business acumen to leadership perspective. And it's clearly where we are now actively indeed going to the markets with all of different training that are much more on this indeed business acumen, behavior, stakeholders management, leadership skills that the market needs.
So you were talking about you're talking with the minister for Portugal, and any advice for professionals relocating to places like Portugal and even Europe? Actually, what skills have you been discussing that are becoming more essential to stay competitive? What are we sort of advising universities and schools and even certification in?
No, that's an excellent question because I guess I've shared all of the a few numbers earlier, but clearly what we see and also what we are really telling our partner is that uh, well, today the biggest risk of transformations in a country like Portugal, but in Europe in general, it's not the lack of ideas. Clearly, it's the risk is capability building, right? So that we really need to make sure that people understand what are the right skills that they need to know and need to really develop to really turn strategy into outcomes. And you have heard about indeed the numbers of people we need. So I say like probably about 3 million of more professionals in Europe. But it's also, of course, it's the same across all countries. So for Portugal, that means also, let's say, tens and tens, thousands of more project managers. And so clearly, so we still want, so to answer your question, so I think it remains very important that project professionals keep understanding the technicalities and the methodological aspect, but from a different way, right? It's more about understanding indeed when they're going to work with AI solution that's going to help them with, let's say, the technical aspect, the process aspect, the scheduling, the budgeting, the risk assessments. They need to understand how AI is working to really indeed make they still need to really understand indeed the methodology, of course. But yes, clearly indeed where they need to invest, and my advice to academia, to private partner, to public partner as well, is clearly indeed to upskill in business acumen. I think first, I think people need to understand indeed in which business their project operates. They need to understand, the bigger system in which their project is clearly indeed being delivered. And because that's the best way to really understand when things change fast, how you can really indeed protect the value of your project if you understand the business. And then, of course, the leadership, right? And leadership means many different things, right? But clearly, it's about influencing stakeholder management. Um, I think it's about being able to really translate indeed the strategy, the vision for your project team in a context where everything is going to change for sure. I would say sooner rather than later as well. So yeah, I think I've been like before the PMI, I was leading a large team of project manager in a big pharma company as well. That's where I was investing as well. I think that to really indeed shift the investments of upskillings in really the business acumen and the leadership area. This is absolutely where the upskillings needs to happen.
Yeah, so this is possibly the sort of biggest talent gaps that you're seeing is this sort of understanding of specific business environments?
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the reasons is so because indeed the profession has been highly focused on the technicalities, on the different methodologies, and that's clearly indeed where and it's not new this year, right? It's a journey we have started already several years ago. We are really indeed elevating our solutions, our training, our certifications in a way where the project managers that take those certifications can really prove indeed that they see the bigger picture, right? I think if to give an image that they are not just there to really to create the plants and protect the plants, they understand the bigger systems in which they operate. But yes, so that's really about, in a way, like shifting from project manager to project leaders to some extent, right? So that's clearly about leadership at the end of the day.
And also the sort of, I guess, leadership, there is some questions about remote and hybrid work and how, how much this has changed everything. And in terms of leadership, you're managing a team and they could potentially be working from remote locations all over the world, maybe on the beach in Indonesia, So what are the sort of biggest challenges leaders sort of haven't solved in that sort of perspective?
No, it's a tough question, Justin, and I don't know if I have the right answer to that one. Why I think but I think it's interesting because when we work with academia, let's say let's say next generation in general, you see that that's a generation that has been, and it's frankly it's good or it's bad, I don't know, but they have been, I would say, used to really work in a virtual way, right? So they are very comfortable in engaging with people remotely, more than maybe people of, let's say, my generation has been used to as well. But again, for me, it comes back indeed to really, for me, it highlights even more indeed the need to really understand your context, understand your business, understand your stakeholders, and really double down on the effort indeed to really know your stakeholders, know your project team, because you don't indeed see them face to face as we were using
Yes,
doing that
you're pretty much seeing a
a
project
few months
management
ago, right?
avatar.
So,
You're
no,
almost
indeed,
seeing them as
indeed.
an avatar, right? Your team.
No, sure.
You might
But
not
it's an
know them as
excellent
a person.
question,
Interesting.
Justin, because clearly in this current volatility, I would say, yeah, project teams is shifting. I've been working for a big pharma project where your project can shift so quickly in terms of directions and maybe type of customer as well, that even your project team was shifting indeed from one continent to the other as well. So, understanding the context, the culture of the people, the needs of the people. It comes back to stakeholder management. So invest in understanding the reality of others. Well, I think it's valid for everyone. What has been helping me in my career in general is to really build this capability of putting yourself in the shoes of others in general as well. It's so much helpful to really invest in understanding the perspective of other people.
Yeah, interesting. And sort of looking ahead to 2026 and beyond, what do you think the global trends should what global trends should they be sort of listening for and paying attention
Mhm.
to?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. So, if we look at 2026 and beyond, so there are numbers of trends that we see. It's shaping almost every organization, right? So, uh, I will start with continuous transformation, right? I think it's the main thing, right? There is no return to a stable environment. I don't think so. So, whether it's climate change, geopolitical related changes, digitalization, macro volatility, cybersecurity, everything. So everything is changing so fast. So I think that we really need to help organizations and product professionals to really learn how to operate in a continuous, I would say, changing world. Right? So that's for me the big theme. And related to that, of course, AI now is moving from experiments to mainstream use, right? So I think that again, it was very interesting conversations we had at the Global Summit this week. But AI is not tomorrow; it's today, right? Leaders now are using that more and more, and we know, and they want measurable outcomes, not pilots anymore. So that's clearly, I would say, that's 2026 already.
Mm.
Uh, Another trend that we see, and I've mentioned that earlier, the widening of the talent and skills gap. So clearly, especially in change leadership. So that's something indeed that is very important in how I would say organizations need to adapt. Sustainability become a delivery reality, and probably in Europe more than in other regions in the world. And so we have seen clearly more and more, I would say, company turning not, I would say, sustainability not just as a vision, but clearly as something that projects start to deliver against in a numbers of different sectors, which is a good thing, right? And we know that in Europe, there's been probably indeed of course, a big push on that from a let's say a policy perspective. But we really see indeed the shift now to return that from, let's say, a vision to reality. And it's also some things where we are really actively contributing to really help people upskilling. And I think the last thing is what we discussed just before, like success is being redefined as value and impact, not as execution metrics. And seems easy when I speak about that as well, that indeed, and obvious even, but it's a big shift for many organizations, right? And you may have heard about the notions of enterprise agility. This is clearly a theme that we speak more and more about with the PMI. So that's not agility as a team method, but clearly agility as a leadership capability. So that's clearly helping organizations to build that capacity to adapt at scale without losing coherence, right? It's about deciding quickly, redirecting resources deliberately, and keep the strategy actionable, I would say, under pressure. So that's clearly where the PMI is now working more and more with enterprise to really help them understand the principles of enterprise agility.
Interesting. Actually, going back to, it just reminds me of a point you were talking about sustainability. Was it France just recently made planned obsolescence of products illegal? Or is that reading some spam?
So what do you mean? Can you maybe
Well,
a bit
yeah,
go deeper?
I
Understand where you want to
thought it
go.
was France. I thought there was a government official in France that said we're going to look at making planned obsolescence of products illegal, or not necessarily legal, but we're going to dissuade companies from creating like a lifespan of a particular product where it
Uh-huh.
you like when you have an iPhone and then after 2 years it starts to get really slow and you have to do an upgrade or have to replace the product completely.
Yeah.
I think it's with a vision to make products a little bit more sustainable. But I don't know whether it's perhaps something that I was reading on a spam email or you never know these
No,
days, right?
but no, that's valid. I guess when we speak about sustainability, I think that means a number of different things. So
Mm,
sustainability is not about, let's say, green, I would say, energy. It's clearly about making sure indeed that when you are delivering a new product or a new service, it's as well that you are really considering indeed the impact of a product in its entire life cycles, indeed.
mm,
Of course, on the climate in general. So yes, there is an element of analyzing and understanding what's going to be the carbon footprint of your project, and obviously, indeed, trying to minimize that as much as possible. That's also about understanding the social impact
mm,
of your product and your project, and really understand from a people impact perspective, indeed, how I would say you can make sure that you maximize all the opportunities on the good it can do in a way to the society, right? And and we know, I think, that all the different notions of sustainability, whether it's again from a green, I would say, or a carbon footprint perspective, or from a social impact perspective, from a even a sustainable, I would say, economical, I would say, value perspective. They've all been very big teams and somehow marketing messages. And we have seen, and we are still seeing to some extent, indeed, that many sectors are struggling in how do we really embed that in my day-to-day reality. So what's in it for my project if I'm working, I don't know, like in software development or even in pharma development. So I'm delivering a drug or a vaccine. So what does sustainability has to do with it? And so that's where indeed we came to really uh, provide a number of framework and methodology to really help them uh, asking themselves the right questions. So assessing what are the different opportunities you have to really make sure that your product uh, is going to be indeed sustainable across all those different factors. I can just give you an example, and I come from the pharma industry there as well. Right? When you deliver a drug, um, and of course, it's a multi years, I would say, development. When you do, and a big part of the research and development time is about doing clinical trials, and so that means that you're gonna basically need ship drugs everywhere in the world in many different hospitals, and you're gonna get patients going to those hospitals to really take those drugs to really and numbers of different times with a lot of different follow up, a lot of testing. And so there is a huge supply chain behind those kind of clinical trials. Well, first is generating a lot of cost in those developments, but has clearly a carbon footprint, right? It is clearly a climate impact to really move so many patients, so many, uh, I would say, supplies across different countries, and sometimes for big trials it's across the world. And so you may think that indeed there is nothing about sustainability when you do that as well, but I think there is clearly a lot of things you can do to really minimize, in a way, optimize, in a way, all that supply chain so that you clearly need understand how you can minimize your carbon footprints when you are designing those kind of trials.
Yeah.
That's just one example among thousands we can share. But it's clearly about helping the project professionals to really embed that, whatever their sector, whatever the project, because we really believe indeed that the project professionals have clearly this change, in a way, are a force to really embed sustainability in all the different sectors in the world, despite the policies and despite the mandatory reporting, I would say, that governments are putting, of course, on companies.
Yeah, actually, that goes very, very much back to what you were saying about, project managers having a very good experience of the particular business and sector, that they can understand these, like you were saying, the pharma, trials and understand that sort of supply chain to optimize it. Interesting. If you're looking to level up your surfing, JWC has got a couple of ways to get you moving forward. I'm running in-person surf coaching sessions here in Portugal with flexible dates. So if you're traveling through or planning a trip, we can lock in a few sessions and work on exactly what your surfing needs. And thanks to our collaboration with SurfRec, the AI robotic filming system now operating in Ribeira de Ilhas and Carcavelos, you can get footage of your sessions. Just send me 5 clips and I break down every detail for you. But even if you're not in Portugal, no problem. You can send me up to 5 waves from anywhere in the world. Surf trip to Indo, comp heats, or your local surf break. Even wave pools. If you got the footage, I'm happy to analyze it. If you want to dive deeper into SurfRec, check out our Podcast Portugal episode 50 with Zé Ferreira. To book surf coaching sessions, to find out more about our immersive surf training camp schedule, online video analysis program, and special JWC rates for using SurfRec, head to justinwestcoaching.com. Direct links in the show notes. Denis, it's I really appreciate your time, and it's been a fascinating subject, and what a great resource the PMI sounds. And so how can listeners and get in touch with you or the PMI itself?
Yeah, no, it was a pleasure to be also with you, Justin. So, well, 2 ways. We have a very good website, so pmi.org, where the listener can find a lot of different resources on who we are, what we do across different things, and of course our learning and certification solution. My contacts are also there, so you will find, I think, in the senior leadership team section, my email address. Another very easy way to contact me is also via my LinkedIn. So I'm pretty active in LinkedIn, so you can find my details there, and I will be very happy indeed to really answer questions, discuss where is the project professions going. It's always super interesting for us to really take the pulse of the community as well. So always happy to interact with anyone, and also to put you in contact with our experts at the PMI. So we have a huge team of thought leaders, experts across many different topics. So they're really great, and as I say, so that's clearly we have a team of passionate people on the project profession. So always happy to connect.
Brilliant. That sounds amazing. And sort of finally, just to wrap it up, the Global Summit Series, how's it going in Lisbon? How's it been?
It's
Busy, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, I was just now receiving, so I'm just next door. So I'm at 100 meters of the main rooms, and I was saying like we have a full house for the second day here starting. So actually with AI, so we have a plenary sessions on with some of our AI experts. It's going super well. The team is super, I would say, happy. The community is so happy to connect. So we are here, well, as I say, like hundreds of people coming with different perspectives, different ideas, different experience, and people from different regions. So obviously a big cohort from the Portugal, but we have people from all the regions in the world. So that's going super well. So, and it's clearly, again, so as I say, so our objective is to really help the project professions to really indeed go through the different transitions where we are, be upskills to really be, let's say, comfortable to really navigate in a now continuous, I would say, changing world. Be upskills when it comes to AI, sustainability as well. So, and I think it's relevant for Portugal, right? So I think that's clearly a country in the middle of major digital and green transitions. The organization that will win are the one that indeed are being, I think, to my to my sense, that will be able to upskill their people so that they can act, I would say, ethically, responsibly, and in a very engaging way. So that is where strong project management upskilling is critical.
Brilliant. Fascinating. Really fascinating. And once again, Denis, thank you so much for your time. That's Denis Lassance, people, Managing Director Europe at the PMI. That's the Project Management Institute. I'll leave direct links in the show notes that'll go out on all the podcast platforms, Spotify, Amazon, Apple, and a little bit on YouTube. Thank you very much, Denis.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you so much.
Yeah, have a great remaining stay in Lisbon, and I'm sure that you've been enjoying the local food and
Yes,
entertainment.
that's a fascinating city. I love it. Thank you.
Beautiful, great. Thank you so much. This is Justin West from Podcast Portugal. Out. Did you know that Portuguese bank accounts can sometimes be frozen by the authorities? As someone who's traveled extensively and now runs a business here in Portugal, I value freedom, seamless usability, and bulletproof security. That's why I can't say enough good things about Revolut. With a Revolut account as your backup, you'll still be able to pay bills, receive payments, and keep everything running smoothly, even if you're not in the country. Revolut gives you multi-currency accounts, lets you spend in over 150 currencies at interbank rates, and provides advanced security features like instant card freeze, disposable virtual cards, and safe online shopping. And an app that's as intuitive as it gets. To help support Podcast Portugal, and if you're thinking about setting up a bank account as a backup, click the link in the show notes to sign up for a new Revolut account. It's a win-win situation. You get all the benefits of Revolut, and every time someone signs up, Revolut rewards Podcast Portugal with 40 euros. Revolut, freedom in your pocket. Sign up today and show your support for Podcast Portugal.